Tom and Aisha, we're live inside Lake Taylor High School right now, where the second of two meetings being held today is taking place. The people you see behind me, they are all in groups discussing that proposed plan and asking further questions. You may have seen it under construction the last several years right next to Mount Trashmore, the Windsor Woods Tide Gate. The first phase is now complete. We want to show you what type of snow this is, though. I've been massaging this snowball I just dropped for the last couple minutes. Very easy to form one. That really hasn't happened. Only 6.4% of people said they were first-time early voters. Because they haven't found the spot yet, Tom. Take a live look right now from Brambleton and Parks Avenue. It is bumper to bumper all the way to the park. Not trying to be confrontational, but I just want to get the response.
We'll provide the time with Kim through the office.
But why not right now? From what we understand, tonight there's another funeral that will be planned for a gunshot victim who was here for a funeral for another gunshot victim. Nearly 143 degrees. That's what our infrared thermometer just measured the rails here outside of the St. Julian's yard. No longer do you have to worry about, hey, which one do I put it in? Is it recycling or is it trash? And also, they don't have to worry about having enough landfill space. I'm pausing because those who have lived here a long time are probably rolling their eyes saying, yeah, we've heard that before, international flights coming. Attached to the mooring line, and I need to get this ball onto the pier because that's how they tie up a ship. So we'll see. All clear on deck, all clear on pier. Let's see how I can do this. Hey, I made it over. Thank you to the audience. We have more of Wavy's Navy Ship Salute coming up after the break. You're watching Wavy News 10 on Fox 43. Regina, the new rates go into place January 1st. And yes, teachers received a 4.5% raise this fiscal year, but one teacher wants to know, why did they just recently sign their contracts and not know these future costs were coming? Kimberly Miller is about to start her 15th year as a Virginia Beach kindergarten teacher. She knows basic math, and after receiving a letter announcing new district health insurance rates, she was hoping she computed an error.
I'll be paying close to $3,000 extra for insurance this year, so taking the raise and taking into account the insurance premium increase, I'll make $150 more this year, for the whole year, before taxes.
However, the school district confirms the increases are real. While health insurance premiums have been climbing for the last several years, Virginia Beach City Public Schools are seeing a larger increase as the school board used surplus funds to keep the rates flat since 2023.
You know, over the years that, the writing appears to have been on the wall, but I don't know that if we realized it was like right hitting us in the head until it did.
They tried to use reversion funds this year to help keep costs low.
That was denied by city councils.
Now it leaves teachers like Miller wondering how they'll make ends meet.
VB Schools has tried to provide incentives, and I love working for VB Schools. It's a fantastic district, but this just feels like kind of like a gut punch, especially, like I said, 10 days before we're reporting back to work.
She says she personally would have rather had the rates increase year over year, not unlike many other people are dealing with, than this sudden giant increase. The superintendent of schools, he says that he still feels there is enough notice because open enrollment doesn't begin until October. He says this gives teachers time to make plans. However, could that plan be picking up another job? Kimberly says it's something she's going to have to look into. We're live outside of Virginia Beach City Public Schools headquarters. Brett Hall, 10 on your side. Yeah, Tom and Aisha, a TV news station talking about newspapers. What's that have to do with money and politics, you might ask? I asked the same question when a viewer made me aware of two publications that showed up in his house in early September. One being the South Tidewater News, then the other being the Virginia Independent. Both have several stories related to politics, but we have found both have very different framing of those stories. It's no secret, the number of people receiving physical print newspapers has been declining for years. It's why one Point Elizabeth homeowner says he was so surprised when he found South Tidewater News in his mailbox early last month.
And I started reading it and realized it was very pointed to one side of a political party.
He didn't wish to be identified for this report, but says a few days later,
I got another newspaper that was also a random newspaper I've never heard of, and it was pointed to another political party.
That was the Virginia Independent. He says he doesn't remember signing up for either paper. Not only does he now want to know how they started arriving at his address, he wants to know who's doing the publishing. 10 on Your Side went to work and found neither paper is based in Virginia. Rather, the Virginia Independent displayed the Washington, D.C. address home to the American Independent Foundation. The South Daily News listed a Chicago address, but no company. However, a Facebook page created for the paper back in 2020 lists Metric Media LLC as responsible. Their website reveals they are behind nearly a dozen publications in Virginia. But who are they? Who is the American Independent Foundation? Political analyst Dr. Eric Claville has his suspicions.
I think what we're seeing now is in the print news industry, our citizens united, right? That moment where tons of money for campaigns can be poured into campaigns from around the world without having to identify.
We searched tax records and found both groups are tied to nonprofits. The American Independent says they are a progressive media organization, while a foundation connected to Metric Media says its goal is to, quote, restore community-based journalism. But when we find their independent contractors, we find who is truly funding the mission. The address on the South Tidewater News aligns with the address listed for Pipeline Media LLC. There's also Pipeline Advisors LLC. A quick search on opensecrets.org finds that group received more than $1.7 million from the conservative super PAC Restoration PAC. On the American Independent side, the top contributor is listed as the Bonner Group, which has received millions of dollars from Democrat-leaning PACs and organizations.
They are meant to persuade. And persuasion, one element of persuasion is also an element of trust as well.
And let's go more into that trust. Research says what people trust most when it comes to media is still their local news. Now, neither paper responded to our requests for comment, but we can confirm that as far as the South Tidewater News is confirmed, there's a previous article talking about how their reporters for Metric Media don't live in the area. And that may explain why when it says local gas prices in this edition right here, the gas prices listed are for gas stations in North Dakota. Brett Hall, 10 on your side. For more than 50 years, you've seen it. Rising above the skyline along the southern branch of the Elizabeth River, the old Virginian Railroad Bridge. But what you haven't seen for more than 50 years is the man down by the river controlling its every move.
Security, security. The old Virginia Bridge is closing the river traffic.
Meet Billy Garris.
Some people around here think that I'm the biggest fool he ever met, you know.
But no fooling. At 74, he's the longest tenured employee in the nearly 20,000 person strong Norfolk Southern Railway.
And she said, yep, you're number one.
Working for the railroad was a family affair. Billy's father worked the Lambert's Point coal piers, and while Billy was content working sheet metal,
he says, it pays more, you got health insurance, you got vacation, holidays. I said, well, I don't have none of that where I'm at, so I'll go for it.
In 1972, he started as a painter for the Norfolk and Western Railroad. But in only a few months, he'd be all aboard for a new opportunity.
Boss come around one day and asked me, says, you want to be a relief bridge tender? And I said, what is that?
Little did he know, these bridges would become his home away from home for 5 decades. He says he can still remember the cold winter nights, hauling coal buckets across the trestle.
The windows were, you know, not too good. We had stuffed paper in the cracks and all, and that coal stove kept us warm.
He'll also never forget a close call when the bridge was making its 110-foot descent.
And I saw a sailboat come around the corner, and he was going as fast as a sailboat can go. And I thought, oh man, I hit the brake and let him go, because he won't slow him down.
But more than anything, it's the art of keeping the peace between those on the river and the rails. While all other Norfolk Southern bridges in our area are operated remotely, Billy believes in making those personal connections.
My goal load here always is to keep everybody happy, but I haven't met it sometimes.
And it's clear to us he's not leaving as long as he's feeling the same way.
It's not physically demanding, and it's peaceful, I like peaceful. And if there was a better job where I could be happier some kind of way, I would have retired by now.
He doesn't consider himself a motivational speaker, but he says if you can find yourself a gig as a bridge tender down by the river, do it.
I get along with me just fine.
In Chesapeake, Brett Hall, 10 on your side. We begin with continued tensions in Gloucester County happening right now. Some who aren't even from our region are gathering there to say they don't like 4 arrests that the Gloucester County Sheriff's Office made in June. Covering the nation this morning, when we covered the fall elections here in Virginia, it was said over and over again that what happens in states like ours will be the warning signs on what may happen in Washington in the midterms next year. Well, Democrats had large gains. Chad Pergam looks at the numbers and why so many lawmakers are now headed for the exits. And we're on your side ahead of the busy summer travel season. Maybe you're scrolling on your laptop right now looking at flight options. Did you notice that some airlines are cutting their flight schedules back? First, it's, as I've been saying a couple times throughout the show, it's almost like this city's something in the water moment. So many people are excited that something this nice is in Portsmouth. First elected to Richmond City Council 30 years ago this year, Cal has only run for office once before. House of Representatives. Now we're going to go to the person who leads the House of Delegates. They are joined right now by 10 on your side anchor Aisha Tolliver. Good evening, Aisha. Right now near George Washington Highway in Deep Creek on 64 westbound. That's where we have one lane still closed and it's backing things up into the Bowers Hill interchange. Take Military Highway if you can. They've been working this for about a half hour. You'll be along with your full forecast in just about 10 minutes on this February 27th. 2024. Thank you so much for spending part of your morning with us on Fox 43. I'm Brett Hall.